What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Worlds Podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Carl Malone to my John Stockton. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. It after thinking about this, like I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, Carl Malone was kind of a scumbag. So I'm kind of disappointed I'm Carl Malone.
but you're the mailman.
I know, but he also got a 13-year-old pregnant.
Okay, maybe I chose poorly here. I
Yeah,
just I just wanted to be the Utah Jazz.
I know, man. I know.
It's my NBA Jam team. Anyway, how was your week, dude? Tell me about it.
It's been busy. We've been putting your uncle to big time work, and he's been doing great, so that's good.
You guys
Get
almost done?
getting there. We're on our biggest one of our biggest fields. Like it's 160 acres, and we got about 60 left on that. But like that last rain kind of screwed us up because we were set up since Tom is, he's driving semis. Our other field you can't get from the road. You have to actually go out into the field and then like kind of turn around a little bit and then like have the tires sitting on the ditch. Then you can take right off normally, but it's far too wet for that for a semi. And he would get stuck. So we can't do that field right now. So it's just like we're just hoping that, this next rain's not too big.
Right.
How's your week, buddy?
Um, it was pretty low key, I guess.
Oh yeah. Did you do some mischief?
No, but and I know I already told you this yesterday, but I want to share with the pod. I opened a lot of Pokemon over the weekend, Pokemon cards, and got the new Diamond and Pearl remakes for Switch for Brielle and I, and we played that, and that's been really fun. But uh, in one of the boxes, we pulled the fabled Rainbow Rare Pikachu, so that was a pretty exciting pull. Gonna send that off to get graded and hopefully sell it for lots of money.
So what got you back into Pokemon cards?
I I honestly I don't know.
Because yeah, like I mean it they blew up again in popularity where like they're having signs up now where like, yeah, you can't get Pokemon cards, here and all this other stuff. So I didn't know if it was just the same thing that got everyone else hyped or what.
I don't know. Well, actually, probably what it was is Brielle and I started Sword and Shield um sometime last year, and right before that we played Let's Go Eevee, which was just a remake of Gen 1. Um, but anyway, we were just playing that like a lot. Like we put like 100 hours into that game, and I don't know. I was just like one day came across my old cards and was like, oh yeah, that was really fun when I was a kid. And now we're playing the game and we're getting into that again. And it just kind of spiraled from there.
I got you, man. I hope it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was trying to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I like it, but like when I look at the cards from like the original stuff that like we had when we were like younger to now where it's just like this is a chain spell reacting monster where if you play this you can then play 15 of its kin and all this other stuff. I'm like, what is any of this? I don't understand this at all.
Oh yeah. And like I dabbled a little bit in actually playing the card game when we were kids, but I'm just collecting for cards now
I
just because I
gotcha.
like them. And then, having the shop is nice because I can sell my duplicates.
There you go.
um, but yeah, I don't know. It's been fun, especially whenever I can actually find some cards and we get like a little stockpile and can go through it. But man, they really are tough to come by nowadays.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so on this one podcast I listened to, they do this thing called Poppin' Packs, and it's with basketball cards. But like Lee, he opens them up, and then he'll say something about about the player, and then they have to guess who it is. So I'm just tossing this out there. If you ever want to do Poppin' Packs on here, could be fun.
I do want to do that. Some of them, because here's the thing, I played gens 1 through 3, and then I stopped until Sword and Shield, which was Gen 8.
Yeah,
and I'm going through Diamond and Pearl right now, but that's like Gen 4 or 5. So if we pop packs and it's someone from like 6 or 7, that could be pretty dicey on us getting who it is.
In all honesty, like I'm really bad with the Pokemon names anyway. So it's like, unless it's like some that I'm like pretty good with, I'll probably mess it up no matter. Because I would name them like just stupid names where I'd be like, oh, that's a bird monster, and that was its name. Then we'll get
Dude,
Clint. We'll do a pop and packs on YouTube, and we'll just have Clint on sometime, see if he can do it.
that would be fun because I'm sure he would know any of them no
Yeah.
matter what description we gave. No, that would be awesome. I was gonna say too, I could never do the nicknaming thing. I've never been able to do it. It
I mean,
just
it's not,
like
they're not good that I come up with. It's like Blastoise is always Gamera because he's a turtle.
and he spun around, shot
Yeah,
water out.
it's just he's Gamera, and then it's just stupid crap like that.
Right. Well, I mean, my friend Nick will name them like it's just like Mr. Theodore or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I'm
Just
not.
like I'm like, why would you do that? Like I can't, it hurts me to read his party because it's all just ridiculous stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
like the funniest one was like Slutty Tom. And it's just like a Firo, you know?
Yeah.
So it kills me.
Yeah, like I wish I would have named on Pokemon Y or X or whatever the like, because I got the fox because I was like, oh, it's a cute little fox. This can't turn into something terrible. Would have named him Share because that's what he turns into.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that final evolution's pretty rough.
like even the second one, I'm like, how did it come to this? What are you
Yeah.
guys doing?
Dude, man, speaking of that, and gosh, I'm so sorry to anyone who has no idea about Pokemon and what we're talking about, but in Sword and Shield, Braille chose um the little rabbit. I'm blanking on his name. Score Bunny. She just called it from the other room. And its final evolution is just like terrible furry fueled nightmare called Cinderace. And all it does for its cry is just screech. So like you toss it out and it comes out, it's just like it's terrible. It's not a cute little call at all. It just screeches at you.
Yeah,
But
sounds
anyway,
awesome.
all right, we can actually get to comic books. This is not the Pokecast, Podcast,
Yeah,
or
not
is it
yet.
now? That is our
I mean,
fourth
maybe
spinoff show.
it's the Podmon.
Podmon, yes, I like it.
There you go.
All right, but we'll get into the news now. And Casey, I'll let you go first, bud.
All right. This is kind of a slow news week, and it's also for me a very slow comic book week. But to start, I'll just say, like, I guess Constantine's gonna start production in the second quarter of 2022. So that should be cool. Hopefully, it might be terrible. I don't know how I feel about this new Constantine related HBO Max movie, TV series, whatever.
I don't like if we talked about this before, I forgot that it was a thing. So it's
It
not Matt Ryan.
it's not. It's because I mean, it's one of those things where it's in the same, like they're using this as the same as like their Justice League Dark stuff. It's all kind of like under that, just like a dark umbrella. So they're kind of building up that universe all throughout HBO Max. So they're doing a Satana show, Constantine show, or like movie. I don't remember which one. And so yeah, this is gonna start production, and they haven't said who is gonna be playing who. But yeah, I'm just not too interested in it, really.
I'm interested in it. I just hope it's good and also wish that they'd have just used Matt Ryan, who clearly loves being Constantine.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I guess we're getting a Gwen verse in
I
Marvel
saw
Comics.
this.
Well, what are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of dumb because, like, I mean, it's gonna look cool because, like, they can't, like, the people that design the Gwen's costumes they always knock it out of the park. But it's like, how is Gwen going to become Wolverine? Like, that's one of the, characters that she is. So it's like,
I hope
it's
that the claws just pop out of the most insane spot, just like out of her cheeks or something like that. You know what I mean?
she's got them claw eyes, and it's like Cyclops, but she can't see. But then she just can't see when her claws are sticking out.
That would be fantastic. I don't know. Like you said, it's gonna look nice. They're gonna put some insane artist on it. It's
Yeah,
just like Gwen is vastly approaching Deadpool levels of
I don't think
being
I'd
in
say.
comics.
I don't think I'd go that far, because it's like there was a bit where Deadpool had like 3 books. Like Gwen has like 1 book. It's just kind of like, you could just do a regular story with her. She doesn't need a Gwenverse event.
I I agree. We'll
Do you
see
think
how
it's
it
going to sell
goes.
well at your shop?
Um, I think it will be mid tier.
Okay.
I think it'll be mid tier.
So this is kind of exciting, because if there's anyone in Hollywood that has enough pull to make this happen, it's The Rock. And old Dwayne The Rock Johnson said he's going to do everything in his power to get Shazam, aka Black Adam, versus Henry Cavill's Superman. So that's exciting. I
Mhm.
think he just wants everyone to see how much bigger he is than Henry, but it's hard to say.
Dude, I want just a live action, adaptation of that Superman and Shazam versus Black Adam because that was
Yeah,
cool. It was really cool.
it was.
But we'll see. Like you said, if anybody can make it happen, it's him.
Yeah, I think it's all gonna like kind of depend on what happens too with the Discovery merger thing that's going on.
That's true. Would you say that they're gonna rumble and take their face off?
Maybe.
You don't get the joke.
I do not.
It's part of that Tech Nine song that the Rock's featured
Oh
in.
yeah, yeah. I've listened to that one time. I'm like, boy, this is gonna be fun to listen to when I'm working out, but I haven't been able to work out in a while. So,
Just down on the farm.
yeah.
All right. Speaking of stuff on television or movies, what is your problem?
Speaking of stuff,
It's a perfect segue.
yeah, it is.
um, Gru the Wanderer has apparently been optioned for an animated TV show or movie. Um, for anybody that doesn't know, Gru was done by Sergio Aragonés and was uh, like a parody of Conan the Barbarian. I hear that those books are really cool and like funny. I'm not a big fan of his art style, but like it's I don't hate it. It's just like not something I'm gonna go to all the time to read. But you can always tell when he draws something. It's a very distinct style. Um, but anyway, if you're a fan of Gru, that's something to be excited for.
You gonna if it actually does end up anything getting made from it, you gonna check it out?
I'll see what the trailer's like. Like if I'm not willing to pick up the book, I don't know if I'm willing to watch the show. And there's a lot of other things out there I could watch too, but we'll
I
see.
I I think it'd be really funny if they got Jason Momoa or Arnold Schwarzenegger, since they were, both Conan. If they got them to voice Gru.
Man, did you ever see the Momoa Conan movie?
I didn't. I heard it's kind of rough.
Yeah, they could have done something cool with that, especially if it were like if his fame now was the same back then, like that could have been huge and spun off into multiple, more Conan
Yeah.
films, but whatever.
So this was kind of out of left field, But Scarlett Johansson is coming back to Marvel as a producer for a secret project. I guess Kevin Feige was talking about that at a thing that she was being honored at. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy that, after suing Papa Disney, that Kevin Feige is like, nah, she's still coming back because I like her. You guys don't really get a say in what I do.
I mean, good for her. I think she's earned, she's put in the work to produce a project with them. She's been
to
doing it
to
for a while.
to honestly not have to do any more work, but still get paid insane amounts of money because that's what a producer does.
Yep.
That's what they always say.
If it does well.
Like that's what they always say. Like a good producer does. Like John Carpenter will talk about that, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm producer on this. I don't know what it is, but they just send me money, and it's pretty great."
How much I want to know like how much money each producer like themselves put into projects like that.
Yeah, right.
Um we'll keep going with the TV
With the
show
stuff.
news, with the stuff news. Ridley Scott is making an Alien and Blade Runner not together, separate Alien and
Damn.
Blade Runner series for Hulu.
I don't know if Blade Runner really needs a series, I'll be honest, but the Alien one, that universe is ripe for anything you really want to do. But I don't know. I think the sequel to Blade Runner was a bad idea. And so I think this is kind of, you don't need it.
Right.
What do you think, man?
About the same. I think Alien would be fine. But yeah, Blade Runner, I like the original. I didn't see the one that came out a couple years ago. I just don't know that it needs an ongoing.
Yeah. So Nicole Kang is set to play Poison Ivy in the CW's Batwoman. Like, I'm gonna say this, like they actually showed like a thing of her costume, and like she very much looks like a Victoria's Secret model in her costume, which I guess it's cool, but does not look very Poison Ivy to me. But she's got red hair, so that's a plus.
Yeah, Poison Ivy's not gonna make me watch the Batwoman TV show.
Well, this is what's crazy though. It's like, in all honesty, I've not seen the show, but like every single costume has been like at the worst a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like it's usually like too leathery. Like that's the one downside, but that's like all CW shows. And this one, it's just kind of like y'all went just full like sexy cosplayer with this. You're not even trying to make this one look like Poison Ivy.
Right. I don't disagree, but I don't know. Like it's not always going to be perfect. The track record will be tarnished at some point,
I
and
know.
with this
It's
one, it's with Poison Ivy.
Yeah, it's just weird to me because it's like Poison Ivy is a layup as far as ease of of making the costume. So it's just like you went all out with Hush and the other ones that are like maybe a little bit more difficult, and then like this one that should be really easy, you're kind of struggling with, but she seems like she's gonna be a good choice as far as like excitement levels. I've never seen her act, but like her Instagram post, like she posts about, she's like, oh, I'm so excited. And I don't know if that's how she actually sounded because it was a post and she didn't talk, but
Now, that was a perfect impression of her.
man, you'd feel real silly if that's how she sounded.
Well, we'll see. And if she does, then I will wipe the egg from my face on this show.
Okay, perfect.
So there are 5 new comic series coming from Scout Comics in February. I've got the little blurbs here, and you just give me the quick. Does it sound neat or not to you?
Okay.
So we've got Broken Eye. It's Liverpool in the early 1970s. Seamus Young is a young orphan who works unloading garbage in the docks, but his situation will get worse unexpectedly when he finds a cutaway hand floating in the river, and he will be immersed in a criminal conspiracy involving the IRA. And all because of a secret. Seamus has a broken eye, but with which he can see the past.
The broken eye thing at the end kind of lost me. I was like, stuff with a missing hand and crime stuff. I'm like, this is, and then like, I don't know about that one.
I don't think it sounds like chew, but instead of like eating something and seeing stuff from it, he just can see stuff happening
Yeah,
from his eye. I don't know. Next, we've got Playthings. And this is through their Black Caravan imprint. Allison Hart wakes up inside a bright candy colored room to discover that she's tied down with licorice small toy. Wait, what? This was a typo here. She's tied down with licorice. Small toys around her move because they are alive, and her hands are no longer real. She struggles to piece together the surreal and horrific events that led her to this place, and more importantly, what has happened to her young daughter, Emma.
yeah, it's a pass.
Yeah, that one sounded a little bit out there.
Yeah, it's maybe as a Hulu movie that would pop up on like in Halloween time that I might watch, but that's about it.
Right. Next, we've got Red Wraith, also a Black Caravan imprint. It's actually Rad Wraith. I can't read.
No.
Rad Wraith is the story of a young skateboarder named Grom who falls victim to a prank gone wrong and dies at the bottom of a half pipe. What his killers don't know is that this half pipe was built on cursed land, and now that curse is coming for them. This February, it's time to skate or die.
Oh, it's a pass. That's hilarious.
If they don't take it too seriously, that could be amazing, but I
Yeah,
just don't know.
I know. It'd be funny if you're like, and all of these are written by Alan Moore.
Would you be more inclined then?
Less. I'm not a big Alan Moore guy.
That's true. All right, then we've got Shepherd the Valentine, also a Black Caravan imprint. Like their father, Professor Lawrence Miller, aka the Shepherd, Lexi and her little brother Nico are lightning rods for those in greatest need. One such person shows up at their door, a little girl named Violet, or V for short. V has recently escaped the clutches of a vicious killer. Traumatized but angry, the girl explains that when she was taken, she was carrying a gift for her mother. In the chaos of her escape, it was left behind, and now V wants it back. She's come to ask Lexi and Nico for help, for they are all in way over their heads.
That could be cool.
And finally, we've got Sultaic One Small Spark. Lexa is a single mother and hero in hiding, once known as Elysium. She and her daughter, Harper, are just trying to get by in a world where extraordinaries have been outlawed and freelance heroes are forbidden. Their relationship drives the story as two generations of a family see two very different paths forward. Lexa has devoted her life to protecting her daughter, but Harper wants to protect the next generation of heroes.
That sounds like the most interesting so far.
Yeah. And yeah, there you have it. If you guys need some like small press in your life and any of those sound cool, then let your local comic shop know and they'll get it in for you.
Yeah. Which one are you like? This is the one I'd want to read.
If it weren't serious, the Rad Wraith one.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Otherwise, probably the Broken Eye one.
Okay.
What about you?
I like the last one, whatever the name of that one was. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not really cool.
I just wanted since it was a slow news week, I thought we'd talk a little bit about some new Scout comics.
Yeah, I got you, man. Okay, so Natasha Liu Bordizzo has been cast as Sabin Wren in the Ahsoka series. Sabin Wren was last seen in Rebels. She's the cool Mandalorian lady. Did you watch Rebels at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you excited about seeing her in Ahsoka? Because I didn't know she was gonna appear in that until I saw this.
No, and I haven't finished Rebels, but it was really good. Like I loved that show what I saw of it. So that
Yeah.
is pretty exciting because Sabine was one of the more fun characters.
Yeah, I agree.
And I
For
s-
the
and
little
I
bit I
say
watched.
that like I didn't love all of them a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But she was great. So I think that's super cool and definitely has me more hyped for that show.
for sure, man. Okay, I just have one more bit of news, and this is a possible spoiler. So you might want to take your earphones off if you want, when we talk about it. So there's a spoiler going around for Barry Cogan's role in the Batman. Apparently, he's like they're yeah, like the name that he's built under is not who he is. He's going to be playing a major character. So Jake, like I said, if you want to not be spoiled, you can take your
Are
ears
you
off
are
and I
you
can
saying spoiled on purpose like that? Is it the
no.
spoiler?
Yes, he's playing Stephanie Brown.
Sorry, go ahead. I don't care.
Okay, so so for the people listening, spoiler, fast forward 15 seconds. He's gonna play the Joker, apparently. That's what everyone's I don't know who this actor is, so I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, but apparently that's what they set up for at the end of the movie. And that's who this guy is allegedly playing. That's what all the rumors are saying. People that saw it early said too. Which after you see the trailers, you're like, yeah, I'm not surprised that this character is in the movie since, you know, the first trailer is what Batman fought in them. So
Right. Um, I mean, we're gonna get the Joker again, right?
yeah.
And I've seen so that actor, I know he was in Dunkirk. Um, and I thought he was in something else I'd seen too. But anyway, I think it could be fine. Like he's got a very distinct look to him where if the acting chops are there, he wasn't in like a ton of Dunkirk, so I can't say for sure, but he could be great. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, and then my last bit of news. DC is going to launch Aquaman in February. We knew it was coming. It's been on the covers of like the last two issues of The Becoming, but the creative team is Chuck Brown, Sammy Basri, and Adriana Lucas. I assume that Arthur Curry and Jackson Hyde are just going to be the two Aqua Bros, um, which I'm fine with because everything that we've read in this, their interactions
Mm-hmm.
have been fun and it could be really cool.
I hope they bring Garth into it too, That'd be cool.
Yeah. There's a third Aqua Bro.
Yeah. And then I mean, I'm trying to think of like someone else that could add into it so we get more than just two, because it'd be better, it'd be more fun with I think like four, maybe five Aquaman. But
Maybe a new one will come along and they can try to garner hype by saying new character.
yeah, maybe it's like the guy that was like maybe a love interest for Jackson in that last Aquaman Becoming issue, like or the first one where it's like he's like just stumbling over himself and the mom knows that he's from Atlantis, like when he leaves.
Right. Or maybe Black Manta turns a new leaf and
I
becomes an
mean,
Aquaman.
like that could be actually cool as heck if it's done well, but I don't think that would ever happen.
Well, it's what I would do if DC would ever return my calls.
I know, right, man?
But anyway, that is the end of the news, folks. So we're going to take our ad break. And then when we come back, we'll talk about the comics that I read this week because unfortunately, Casey's hasn't shown up yet. But if they do tomorrow, you'll edit something in, or
I mean, it'd probably be too late. Like I was hoping they would come in today, so then I could be like, well, after we get off here, I'll start reading and then read in the morning, and then like right as I'm editing, like pop them in.
yeah,
But yeah, with it being hopefully tomorrow they come in, I'll
we'll play it by ear.
yeah.
All right, we will be right back. All right, Casey, I have a story for you this week.
Okay.
It's all about the second worst company in the United States, right after Diamond Comics, and that is FedEx. Have you had good experiences with FedEx? Any
No,
thoughts about FedEx?
no, it's actually pretty funny. For my birthday or for Christmas, I got a new bike. I'm getting a new bike, and it was supposed to be delivered, and it has not. Like they left a note like, "Hey, we didn't catch you." Then like we'll be back this day, and then again nothing. And then like some mom's been trying to track it down. They're like, "Yeah, we'll meet you in Mawequa," and then we have this spot. We'll drop it off, and then they never did. And there's supposed she got a hold of her. This is going on, and they're like, "Hey, sorry, this is going on, but like we'll have them text, like we'll get a hold of them and have them text you." And then they just never did. And like I guess finally it's like maybe they'll meet in Decatur in a day.
Dude, so your mom went all the way to Mawequa for this meetup?
Yep.
Gosh, dude. Okay, well, now my story's not going to sound near as bad as that,
I mean, it's FedEx is pretty rough. Like, yeah.
but you get it.
No,
You know that they're
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Plus, it seems like every time I've ever ordered like a new phone, it comes through FedEx for whatever reason, and they're always like, "Oh, we tried to show up and nobody was there." It's like, "No, you didn't. You're a liar." But
Yeah.
anyway, here's the situation. Not Friday of last week, but the Friday before that, I ordered brown paper bags, which is what I send people home with for their comics. It's what Steve always did, and it's just sort of something that I'm like, I want to keep doing that because
And
it just
you can
feels,
compost them.
and you can compost them, right? And the place I order it from was I thought in St. Louis, because they would always deliver it like the next day. Like they had their own delivery people that would bring it the next day. Well, this time they were like, okay, it's coming from LA through FedEx.
LI.
LA. So anyway, by the way, there's a new season of that coming soon.
I know. I've
Yeah,
been rewatching the last season
I
just
need
to
to
get
do
ready
that
for
too.
it while I like as background noise.
Right. Anyway, they were like, it'll be at your store on Monday. So I typed in the notes before I hit submit order. I was like, just so you know, that's the only day of the week my shop is closed. If you just want to wait an additional day so that it shows up on Tuesday. Um, so yeah, Tuesday comes and they're like, I get a notification at like 5:15 p.m. that they tried to deliver it to my business, but the business was closed. Was not the case because I'm there till 6:30. So they lied. They're like, we'll try again the next day. Wednesday rolls around and I'm out of bags, by the way. I have to say, sorry, folks, carry your stack of books out to your car and let them slide all over your back seat willy-nilly because I don't have any bags. Wednesday comes around. It doesn't show up. I check the tracking. It says operational delay. We'll try again the next day. Thursday comes around. They say it's out for delivery. Never shows up. So Friday, I call FedEx and I'm like, well, what's the deal? Like, first, you guys lied about coming because my business is open, and then it just hasn't shown up for 3 days. They're like, well, we see that it's been scanned for our van. Like, a van actually has it in your area. And the lady was like, I guarantee it will be there by 7 p.m. tonight. And I was like, okay. And when it's not, she was like, well, I don't know because I guarantee that it will be. I was like, well, that's a pretty terrible answer, but okay, sure. Um, and to the surprise of nobody listening to the story right now, it didn't show up. And so, I tell my helper for Saturday, look, here's the situation. Apologize to people that when you can't give them a bag, whatever. I'm sitting here on Saturday at like 11:15. I get a notification that somebody left a voicemail on the shop's phone number. And it's this nice old man. And he says, hey, I live like a couple blocks away from your store. And FedEx left a package here about 9 p.m. last night. And, I saw your store's number on the label. So, I just want to let you know that I brought it in overnight and you can come pick it up now if you want it, or I can call FedEx. So I called the guy back and, I thanked him and said that I would go get it. So then I had to drive to South County on my Saturday off and go pick up my package of bags, which, by the way, it looked like the driver gave it the stone cold stunner before he dropped it off on the porch. Like, this thing was busted open, like the top wasn't even taped down, and then the sides were split. I don't know how the bags weren't just like flying out.
Yeah.
And what happened? Because it wasn't even on Telegraph Road. They took the bags to a residential address, and the guy told me that 2 other packages that were not his were stacked on top of my package at his house.
That's hilarious, man.
And so, I thanked him again, and I took the bags to the shop. I was like, here we go. We've got some bags. But dude, like, what the fuck, FedEx? Like, get your shit together, right? Like,
Yeah.
dude, it wasn't even on the same street. It's not like a few doors down. It
Yeah.
was in a fucking neighborhood. Insanity.
It's like, yeah, this old man is first name comics, last name headquarters.
Maybe he was, in which case, shame on me, I
Yeah.
guess. But
You're like, oh, thank you, sir. Sir, headquarters? He's like, oh, please, my friends call me comics.
oh gosh. So anyway, that's my FedEx story. They're an absolute joke of a parcel service.
They are. I will say, fun story, just a fun little fact story. The guy that was like head of FedEx that was making it, he was running out of money and he needed like, I think it was 500, like I don't remember how much money he needed to keep the store. I think it was $50,000 and he had $5,000. He needed to keep it afloat. So he went to Chicago and he was like, hey, there's some investors there. I'm going to try to keep this thing afloat, like early on thing. And none of the investors want it. So he's going to go back, to their base. And then he's like, I think it was in Memphis. And instead of going to Memphis, though, he went to Las Vegas and it was like, I don't have enough. Like, if 0 is the same as 5,000, because we have to have 50,000. So he went and played blackjack and got the money he needed to keep the place going.
Dude, that's amazing.
I know. I was like, that's the coolest story I've heard about a business staying afloat.
Gosh, dude. I mean, that's a story that like his family will tell that for generations. Glad that I didn't take that approach, because that would have gone the opposite.
I would be with you. Like, come on, man, let's keep going. And you're like, we're negative $30,000.
Come on, to quadruple or nothing.
It's like, yeah, dude, it's only up from here. Duh.
Oh man, we know how you get when you gamble, Casey. You need to
I
calm
know.
down.
I'm a winner.
All right, folks, welcome back. If you would like to hear me complain about FedEx and how they screwed over my customers of having brown paper bags, then go listen to our YouTube channel. That is Two Worlds Podcast over on YouTube, and you can hear a fun little story.
Yeah, we
But
have some
anyway,
laughs. For real.
you'll get some laughs. It's good times were had by all for a few minutes.
Except for Jake, because he's still pretty salty.
Yeah, I hold a grudge. But anyway, the comics that I read this week, Casey, were Moon Knight #5, Suicide Squad #9, Robins #1, Suicide Squad King Shark #3, Primordial #3, Batman 117, Nightwing 86, Aquaman the Becoming #3, Blue and Gold #4, Wonder Woman Evolution #1, Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome #1, and Norse Mythology #6. It was a lot.
Yeah. So good thing, because otherwise, good thing I didn't have my comics. Because otherwise, it's the Hour Man, Power Hour, Gal Pal special. It would just, we would just be talking too much and we'd lose it.
We would. All right. I'll start with Norse Mythology. And this was written by Neil Gaiman and P. Craig Russell, and art was done by Gabriel Hernandez Walta and Sandy Jarrell. So I think this is like the end of this volume, but it was really good. They did the Apples of Immortality and then the story of Gerd and Frey, which is fun. I don't really need to tell you guys the myth. If you want to know it, then check it out because the art was really good. And I wanted to show you this art by Sandy Jarrell. I just thought it was really, really nice. It was almost like Cliff Chang in a way. Cool. Very pretty stuff, but I like both of these stories a lot, and the art put it over the top. And also I got the variant cover by David Mack, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So this was a 9 out of 10. I don't know why I'm not giving it a 10. I'm just choosing not to, but it was good.
You're just holding a grudge against Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, darn you, Neil Gaiman, for being so talented. Then we've got Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome #1. And this is by Ian Flynn with art by Thomas Roethlisberger and Aaron Hammerstrom. And basically, Dr. Starline, who's a reoccurring villain in the regular Sonic series, wants to take out Sonic by introducing someone that's just as fast, if not faster, and has more attitude than Sonic, but also has a fox-like best friend with multiple tails. So anyway, it's just really goofy. And I don't know, the friend who's called Kit of the imposter Sonic is just I don't know, like a little dog, like a chihuahua that's maybe been abused its whole life, so it just kind of shakes. That's what this character is, except it's a fox with 6 tails made of water, like actual water. It's like magical tails. I don't know, man. This felt like This felt like someone's weird like trip that they just made into a comic.
I mean, it could be worse because I think we talk about him every time we do a Sonic, the book. Could be Ken Penders.
Could be Ken Penders, and it's not. It's way better than that.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I didn't dislike it at all. It's just weird. It's just
Yeah.
weird.
Now is the bad guy doctor, like I forgot his name already, but is this dude, is he in the games at all, or is he just a comic book baddie?
Nah, he's just a comic book baddie. Um, but he's like more serious than Robotnik. He's not just like a big goofball.
Yeah.
He wants to he wants to be a better evil genius than Dr. Robotnik. So it's whatever. I'm gonna stick it out. It's just a mini series. I think it's only 3 or 4 issues, but I figure if anything, it'll give me like actual chuckles at how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
And then the teaser for the cover of next month is a callback to the Sonic 2 cartridge.
Oh yeah.
And I love it. I think it's great.
Now the art in it, I mean, I know you always say like the Sonic art, it's not like, it's always pretty solid. So like, is this still pretty solid too? Because it's never like, I know it's more simple than a lot of the superhero books, but it seems like they always kind of nail it as far as making it look like the games.
Yeah, and this does too. It's you could tell that it's modeled after the regular Sonic line. Um it's like a 0.5 lower than the regular book.
Oh,
There's
okay.
just it's not quite the regular, but it's still perfectly great Sonic art.
Yeah.
So I'll give it like a 7. It's just, it's everything that this book could be. So next, we've got Wonder Woman Evolution. And man, this is part 1 of 8. And I gotta tell you, I'm not coming back for the rest of it. It's written by Stephanie Phillips, and the art is done by Mike Hawthorne. Dude, there's something weird about this art. It's just, I don't know. Wonder Woman just has like this sunken face throughout like
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that at all.
I couldn't do it. I don't know. And like Superman is in this book for a little bit too. And he's drawn kind of weird. But anyway, Wonder Woman just kind of gets zapped by this like magical lightning and then teleported to some place to be a champion in this fight. I don't know. It was just kind of weak. If the art was better, maybe I'd stick around for more of it, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm gonna give it like a 3.
Yeah, that's one thing that's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's like good art can make you stay with a crappy book, and like, but bad art, even if it's like really well written, can kind of just take you completely out of a book.
Yeah, which is a shame because it's like any of these artists is better than anything we could ever do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're still like, nah, it's pretty terrible. I'm not gonna read it anymore.
Yeah. See, that's one of the things. It's like that's why I kind of always try to say like, it's just not for me, because like I already know like they're incredibly talented, but
and dude, I know the name Mike Hawthorne. Like he's a known artist. I don't know. This just didn't look like his regular stuff.
Maybe he's doing kind of like Liam Sharp, where he messes, changes around with his art style.
It could be.
Because that's like one of the things. It's like I like Liam Sharp a lot of times, but then like I saw some pictures from his Batcat book. I'm like, man, I'm not feeling this at all. Like normally I would feel bad if I'm not picking up a Liam Sharp book. I'm like, this is not for me this time. So I'm really glad it's not, because I did not want to read this.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I'm at with that. I like you, Mike Hawthorne. I know you're listening. You're one of our listeners, but
I picture me eating a bowl of cereal and like just drop the spinning. Like after he's like, okay, we're cool. Just starts eating the cereal again.
All right. So next we'll do Blue and Gold number 4. It's written by Dan Jurgens and the art is done by Ryan Sook. Oh, and also Kevin McGuire. There's like different segments here.
How'd that flow?
Fine. Kevin McGuire's amazing. So
Mhm.
um but this is interesting. This one, Blackguard is in this issue, and he was Booster's first villain. The issue itself is kind of weird. It was a filler issue, which, as we talk about, Casey, is weird to do in a miniseries.
Yeah.
Um, but they're being interviewed at their like new location for their restoration project, and they're both telling the same story, but they each have a different, like, it didn't happen like that, it happened like this, and that's what the whole issue is. So it's entertaining, it's just filler.
Yeah. That'd be great if this was an ongoing.
Right, exactly. But anyway, then at the end, um some mild spoiler, Casey, I'm sorry, Guy Gardner shows up and he's like, you're both stupid, this is how it happened. And of course everyone believes the Green Lantern over these two schmucks, right? So
I don't. In all fairness, though, have you seen his haircut? I wouldn't believe anything he said.
dude, I'm right there with you, I'm right there with you. But anyway, it was fun. It's just filler, so I gotta give it like a 7.
I gotcha. Do you remember that year at C2E2 where there was that kid that was dressed as Guy Gardner and he looked like he had the hair cut down too? I'm like, boy, like I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but you look exactly like Guy Gardner.
Yeah. And also that year I went as Booster, and that beetle was like trying to get me to go bother Kevin McGuire. Dude,
That's pretty awesome.
that was weird. Were you like there for that?
Well, no, like so that beetle, he saw me and he was Green Arrow because he had multiple costumes. And he's like, yeah, I hear or he was Booster at the time. He's like, I hear there's another Booster running around here. I'm like, actually, that's my really good buddy. I'll send him a text. And so then like he's like, oh, cool. I'll switch, change into my Blue Beetle costume. Because the day before he was Green Arrow and we talked. And then yeah. And so yeah, he found you and
And
you
like
guys became good buddies, right?
it was weird because he's like, Kevin McGuire's over here, let's go talk to him. And I was like, okay. So we went over there and Kevin's like, oh, that's cool. Like shook our hands. And then I was like, all right, see ya. And he's like, well, let's like have some fun with Kevin. And I'm like, what do you want to do? He's busy. He's like signing and drawing. Like, I'm not gonna just be that guy that hovers around Kevin McGuire. I don't know. It was just weird.
Kevin's like, come over here, guys. Got some beers. We're gonna go rage.
I mean, how could you turn that down?
Yeah. It's like, and then they're like, oh God, there's a Booster and a Blue Beetle and a Kevin McGuire. And then they're like, oh no, a code 302.
It's like this happens every single year.
So we had to stop inviting him.
But anyway, moving along, we've got Aquaman the Becoming #3. And this is written by Brandon Thomas ? And written by Scott Koblish. I'm guessing that's who it is because I can't find the credits page. Yep, I was correct. This issue is kind of neat. Jackson, he got hurt at the end of the last issue and escaped those people that are trying to frame him for blowing up Atlantis. Well, he's like teleporting to a secret base, and his like teleporter majiggy gets broken. And he's talking to the AI at the base. He's like, I got to get to Atlantis or whatever. And the thing's like, well, your teleporter's busted. You can't go that far. But we have like a bunch of smaller bases throughout the United States. Just go one at a time to each base instead of one big jump. I don't know why it matters. I feel like teleporting's teleporting, but whatever. And so he's like jumping around, And it's pretty neat because he uses like a Justice League one, a Teen Titans Tower, like the Justice League Detroit headquarters, the Flash Museum, uh, Challengers Mountain. So
Oh,
there's
nice.
like neat little, like, oh, here's just a call to a thing that you might know, which is fun. But then at the end, they kind of lose me a little bit. Casey, I apologize. You might want to earmuffs, but
Yeah, that's fine.
uh, someone like tracks him through all these teleportations, and there's a big fight. And then his mom shows up and she's like, leave Jackson alone. And the person's like, tell him who I am or I will. And then they take off the helmet, and his mom's like, her name's Delilah Jackson. She's your sister. And it's another one of those secret sibling
I
stories.
hope Jackson looks at it in the next issue and goes, "Hey there, Delilah."
What's it like in Atlantis City? So after I rolled my eyes and groaned, um, I thought about it. The issue's fine. I'm just dealing with this in Nightwing. I don't want to deal with it in this too. You know what I mean?
They're
It's
setting
just
up
hokey.
a Justice League of Forgotten Sisters. So
For real.
each of these like kind of secondary characters are going to get a new secret sister, and then it's
Yeah.
going to be turn into a whole team. It's going to be great.
That's the book you would write if DC would return your calls.
Yeah, Wally West is going to get us, or no, we need Wallace West to get a secret sister. And I'm trying to think of some more secret sisters that we can get.
But anyway, I don't know. This issue didn't really do it for me. I'm gonna go like a 5 on that one. The fights were whatever. The best part was just the inside of these bases, or just them mentioning what the bases were.
Like that's the weird part with this series. It's like the first issue and like the kind of lead into that issue, they do such a good job of having Jackson, and even last issue, they had such a good job of like Jackson being with Mira or Aquaman. It's like just keep like get Jackson with these other characters. I mean, I know this is kind of like supposed to be highlighting Jackson, but they do such a good job of writing the dialogue for Jackson with these other people that it's just like it's just better if you just have him with these other people, because it's more interesting, it's more fun because you make Jackson way more likable that way.
Yeah, I agree. And then, there's little parts again of like Atlantean guards trying to question Mira about where he is. And it's like, dude, we've been doing this for a couple issues now. Like it's
Yeah.
lost its charm. But whatever, it hasn't like lost me. This was just a low point for the series so far. All right. Next, we've got Nightwing 86. It's written by Tom Taylor, and the art is done by Robbie Rodriguez. It's the final Fear State tie-in. So, yeah. So Tim and Dick and Barbara all think that Stephanie and Cassandra get blown up in the clock tower. So, like, the first couple pages, it's them like going through the rubble trying to find the bodies of those two, and like their fingers are bleeding and they're just lifting up these heavy rocks, and like Dick is given like this sad monologue about like fallen teammates, and then Steph comes over on the radio, and she's just like, we're fine, we're over here, we got away. So they all go and meet up, and it's like all that finger bleeding, digging, and all of that for 2 pages was just such a stupid waste.
Yeah.
Because the next thing that happens is just Dick's like, okay, now that you guys are safe, we're gonna go up in that flying, peacekeeper ship and take down Simon Saint. And then Tim's like, well, how are we gonna get up there? And then he gets the smug look and he's like, oh, unless you two want to do this alone. And Steph's like, well, why would they want to do that? And Tim says, they kissed. And Steph goes, finally. Just like, what are you talking about? What the is happening in this book, dude? What do you mean, finally? They've been on and off for decades. And also, you guys just like literally worked your fingers to the bone to find them. And now that you know that they're not dead, the first thing you're going to do is be like, KISSING. It's like, shut up. This was so poorly written.
I like to think like while they're all doing this stupid stuff, Cassie's like just not killing, but beating up all of the peacekeepers.
Once we get through this stupid dialogue, they go and they beat up some like peacekeepers and put on their suits as disguises and jetpack on up to the ship. And then we see the most poorly drawn guns I've seen in a comic since Rob Liefeld, Casey. And I'm going to share that with you right here.
What in the world?
Yeah, you tell me.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Yeah, which
Absolutely
is surprising because
terrible.
that art in that book is pretty
Amazing.
top-notch. Yeah.
Amazing art. It's just like it's like draw. He's reading the script, draw gun, and Tom Taylor's like, you know what a gun is, right? He's like, oh yeah, no, I've seen a gun, and like tries to draw one from memory, not having seen one before. Like,
well,
he's
never seen one, but then Tom Taylor's also Australian, so Tom's like, I know what a gun is also for sure. And so then they're like, yep, this is
You're
it.
right. I should be giving the artist the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Tom is like explaining in the script what a gun looks like, and the guy's just like,
you sure?
It's like, well, I guess I'll draw it like you want. You're the writer. Yeah. But anyway, they go up and Barbara punches out Simon Saint, and like the seer is there, who is the person that took out all of Barbara's tech for no reason at all, other than they needed someone to be better than her for a few issues. And then Dick's just like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drop this ship into the Gotham harbor. So they do. They just crash it into Gotham's harbor. And Dick and Barbara are sitting there, and Dick's like, so what now? Barbara's like, I need to find out who Seer is and why they're doing this. And then I think that is the story that they're gonna explore in the Batgirls title. I just think it'll be done better in that title because I like Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad as writers. And yeah, I don't know, dude, this was baffling to me, to say the least.
I mean, that's a big thing I kind of took away from you talking about this is like Tom Taylor should never write Tim Drake, because it's like, holy wow.
Yeah, I like it's laughable how bad the dialogue was in this, which is a shame because, dude, like the art is just so fun. Like, I don't know what to say. Art is 10 out of 10. Writing is like a 2 out of 10. So I don't know where to meet, like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
I will say it gave me laughs. So it was entertaining, just not in the way Tom Taylor wants it to be.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe he just got really mad that they're like he's like, okay, now I'm gonna kill Stephanie and Cassie, and then like they're like, no, you're not allowed to do that. And he's like, we're gonna make this really stupid then.
That has to have been what happened, dude.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
I think it's as good a guess as any after hearing that dialogue.
Yeah. And that wasn't me paraphrasing. I was reading exactly what was on the page.
I know you did because I actually saw the Tim Drake scene on Instagram. I'm like, boy, this is stupid.
I'll
Like
move
if
on
it
to something. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if anything, they should have been like, does Corey know?
Right? Like that would have been fine.
Yeah. Then Babs is like, yeah, does she? He's like, we just kissed. I haven't been able to talk to anybody yet.
Meanwhile, cut to Teen Titans Academy, and Corey's like, leave the mask on. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like wildly different things happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will contrast that with a book that I loved, and that's Moon Knight #5. And that's written by Jed McKay, and art is done by Alessandro Capuccio. So the way I explain this, it's not going to sound like it was good, because a lot of this is just Mark at therapy. But he's explaining why he's like so messed up, and he's trying to, validate Jason Aaron's stupid Moon Knight one shots the Avengers storyline that happened not that long ago. And then also like the Max Bemis stuff and all of that. And I think he does a pretty good job of doing so. And then while that's all happening, this kid that lives in this young guy that lives in the neighborhood named Terry goes to the midnight mission, and he's like, hey, I know who's after you. It's this guy that you were a soldier with who's ex-Hydra. And so Moon Knight goes and tries to stop him when he breaks into the midnight mission. But when he gets there, the soldier is actually like chained up to the radiator, and it was all a ruse. And Mark like breaks him out of there or whatever, gets the chain off of him. They escape the midnight mission before it explodes because there was a bomb in there. And they get outside, and Mark gets up off the ground after the explosion, goes off and knocks him down. And it turns out it was Terry all along. I know. And so Terry puts on a mask. I don't know why, because we all know it's Terry. And he was like, Terry was never real. Call me Zodiac. So now I guess
Zodiac killer.
It doesn't say killer, just Zodiac. Okay. It looks neat. I mean, it's just like a suit and a mask, you know. But whatever. Moon Knight honestly needs a few more villains, so I'm not upset with the couple of small ones that have been introduced here. Maybe something will happen there, but it was cool. And then also I just wanted to show my favorite page, because this, to me, Capuccio is the Moon Knight what Jorge Jimenez is the Batman. But look at that, man.
That is awesome.
It's just amazing work. I love it. But despite the whole it was Terry all along kind of goofiness, I love this issue. So this one's going to get a 9 out of 10 for me.
So when you do it was Terry all along, it makes you think of, I know you don't watch a lot of wrestling, but back when we were children, back in the 1900s, there was this like Dark Order, like it wasn't Dark Order, something like the Ministry of Darkness had like their Dark Commander or something like that, and then like they're gonna reveal who it was, and then like it's a hilarious video because it wasn't supposed to be this, but then like it ends up being, because they're gonna sacrifice Stephanie McMahon and all this other like stupid stuff that they're gonna do. But it turns out it was Vince McMahon, and he's like, "It's me, Austin. It was me all along."
He was gonna sacrifice his own daughter.
Yeah, well, because it was like
From what I've heard, he would do that anyways.
well, dude, there was so there was gonna be this story where they were going. This is what Vince wanted, and everyone had to talk him out of it. They were gonna do this angle where Stephanie McMahon, because she was pregnant in real life, and they're gonna do this angle where Vince got her pregnant. That was what he wanted to do. He wanted it, and then like Triple H, who's Stephanie's husband in real life, and Stephanie were both like, no, you are not doing that. That's terrible. That's so stupid. And it's like, come on, it's a great idea.
Dude, he sounds so insane.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you look into some of the different stuff where it's like, I guess if you sneeze in front of him, you're gonna get fired. And then like he used to would just try to wrestle Kurt Angle, like real like amateur style wrestling him. And like so they would just like he'd sneak up on him and like get him. And so like Kurt Angle started doing it to him too.
Dude, isn't he like freaking 90 years old too at this point?
I think he's like in his 80s now.
At what point does he like not get a say in anything and Triple H takes over?
I mean, it's kind of going the opposite route because Triple H was like he had a lot of power, and then like Vince has this other guy that kind of like fires people for him, and like they've just been slowly firing all of the people Triple H has been bringing in as budget cuts.
Gosh, that's a hilarious story though.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next, we've got Suicide Squad King Shark #3, and this is written by Tim Seeley and art done by Scott Collins. And man, there is a throwaway character at the very beginning of this issue that just reminds me a lot of a Star Fox type character. Because he's got like prosthetic both legs and one arm are prosthetic. And then King Shark just eats him on page 2. Because it's the ocean with seven or eight pallets floating.
Yeah.
And this rabbit, like all he gets are the pallets versus King Shark in the ocean. So it's not a fair fight. But anyway, things are getting dicey because Defacer is sleeping with this character called Man King. He's man's champion in this tournament. And eventually he's going to have to fight King Shark. So she's sleeping, she's friends with King Shark, but sleeping with the enemy. And he's like, you're going to help me take him down. And I don't know, man. It's cringy. It makes me hurt because really King Shark is like a puppy and I love him and I want him to succeed. Even though he's a big terrifying
the Facer's gonna help him out.
I know, but I feel like it's gonna come out that she's been sleeping with Man King, and there's gonna be that whole we're not friends, but then they'll become friends at the end. Yeah. Anyway, we get some background stuff on King Shark in his childhood whenever his parents like sold him off to Waller and stuff, which I didn't realize Waller had him for like most of his life. I thought that was kind of a recent thing, but for some reason, the shark god made a deal with Amanda Waller of Task Force X for no reason to get his firstborn child. So
yeah, I always thought he was like a Superboy villain. I didn't know Amanda Waller had anything to do with that.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows what this is definitely not continuity.
Yeah.
Anyway, some bonkers stuff happens where the Suicide Squad Black team shows up, which is the one with Etrigan and Gentleman Ghost and Black Bison and Harpy Lady from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like they're all just on the same team. And they show up to get King Shark back. But then like all the like animal champion fighters are fighting them. It's a lot. But anyway, yeah, the whole issue is just a lot of fights and a lot of Waller being like, get me pictures of King Shark. She's like Jay Jonah. And then at the end, Defacer and King Shark both get thrown through this portal where they have to fight the Roach King.
Oof.
And it looks pretty gross because there's like a lot of cockroaches like swarming over them and stuff like that. But anyway, it's fun. I like this book. It's like, dude, you don't read this for the plot. You just don't. It's a goofy story, but the action's cool. The art is okay but fitting. And Tim Seeley does the dialogue stuff well. So I'm enjoying it. I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because it's not going to win any awards, This is a Fast and the Furious, not name any movie that's won a ton of Academy Awards. Okay. How are we doing on time? All right. We got Robin's number 1. And they were sure to put on the cover that this was a DC round robin winner, by the way. So this is the first one of those to be published.
This is a big Tim Seeley week for you.
It is. So this was written by Tim Seeley, and the art was done by Baldemar Rivas. This wasn't that good, if I'm honest, which is a bummer because I've been liking Tim Seeley lately, and I love all the Robins. But essentially, Dick gathers everyone that's been a Robin together, and they want to talk about whether or not them all becoming Robin was a good thing or a bad thing for each of them, which is a fine idea or whatever. But first off, the artist gives Nightwing a man bun in this, and he doesn't look like Nightwing at all. That's Nightwing.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look. He looks like a different character. But anyway, there's some stuff with Anarchy and Anarchy's followers. But essentially, somebody breaks all of their like each of them have a first time villain, and they're all in Blackgate, and someone breaks all of those villains out to like send a message to each of the Robins, so somebody knows their identities. Sorry about the cough. And
I forgive you.
Thank you. And then the final page, we find out that it's this creepy girl, and she just says it's very poor form to assemble all of the Robins and not invite the very first one. And she's very clearly dressed up like a lady version of Robin. So I don't know, Tim Seeley's gonna pull a, before Dick Grayson donned Robin in the 1940s, there was this first one, because I don't know how that's ever going to make sense.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it's gonna be.
Or maybe this girl's just crazy. Who knows? I'm gonna give it one more, but this really just didn't do it for me. The art, I wasn't a big fan of, and I just don't really like how they all talked to each other. A couple of them just felt out of character.
Jason, right? Because I heard people talking about Jason.
Yeah, I don't know. Jason and Dick were the two where I was just like, I don't know about this. But
was anyway. Tim acting like a little brother, being like, you were smooching a lady? And they're like, yes, I was.
No, he was, he was like the nerd, right? Which is kind of how he is, because Stephanie was like, Dick went first in their little round robin, if you will, table here. And Stephanie was like, I should go next. I was only Robin for, 71 days. And Tim's like, 48. You were suspended for 3 weeks. And Dick's like, 10. But anyway, and then he, kind of explained he demanded to become Robin because he found out, Bruce's identity and blah, blah, blah. So he was written well, but some of the others were not. Anyway, I'm at probably like a 5 or a 6 on that one. All right, couple more. If we got Suicide Squad number 9. This is written by Robbie Thompson and art by Eduardo Penska. And dude, we both have been digging this book lately. This one didn't do it for me. I thought this one was pretty rough.
Really?
It's just like they're all underwater, and Major Force is on the team, and he's just a big jerk. And
that's his character.
I know, but it's not enjoyable.
Nope.
There's lots of jerks on the Suicide Squad, but Major Force is not one I like to read.
Yeah, he shoves women in refrigerators. He's awful.
Yeah, I know. But there's some like Green Lantern stuff in here. I don't want to spoil it, Casey, because I know you do like this book and you want to read it. There's some Lantern stuff. And there's a pretty neat scene between Talon and Salubra, or whatever her name is. And that's building up a pretty neat like side storyline. And yeah, that was kind of all there was to it. This was probably like the weakest issue, I think, so far. But I still like the book. I'm looking forward to what they've been building. So this one, I'll go a 7. It was okay.
All right. Old thirsty boy.
I'm trying not to keep coughing into the microphone. Primordial number 3. It's written by Jeff Lemire and art is done by Andrea Sorrentino. So yes, we sort of get the sad background story of the monkeys this time around. And then we get a lot of the monkeys and the dog Leica together. They start to have some conversation, which is really neat. And then the 2 scientist people, like the Russian lady and the American guy, they're still coming up with a way to send a message out there to the animals. So I'm not really selling this book, but I don't think I need to you, Casey. You know how good it's been, and it's still that good. I'm looking forward to more. It was cool. This was a 9 out of 10 for me.
I'm glad, man. I'm really excited to not finally, but to read the next issue whenever I get it.
Right. Okay, and then the final issue is Batman 117. And this was done by James Tynan and Jorge Jimenez. And Casey, I don't know if this will surprise you or not, but I was crazy underwhelmed with this finale.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Yeah. I don't even know how to like really talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for you on the big finale, but it ties in with the Nightwing stuff. They were up there in Saint's ship, and then Batman has a big fight with Mahoney. There's Harley and Ivy stuff. Harley tries to talk Ivy down from destroying the city. And then Miracle Molly has a big old decision to make. I'm trying to be super vague.
I know because Jorge actually posted the Harley and Ivy smooch. So I'm assuming Ivy does the fusion dance and combines both of her, herselves together.
I wish she did the fusion dance. But you are correct. That does happen.
Yeah, it'd be really funny.
Unfortunately, they just don't do it in the cool way.
Oh, okay. It's just like the one Ivy eats the other one.
With like a knife and fork, just slowly.
They're like, do we have to be here for all of this? And they're like, yes.
All 24 pages of it. But yeah, dude, the stuff with Ivy I thought was like pretty dumb. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
It seems like they kind of shoehorned it in like that. They were kind of doing Ivy stuff in Catwoman, and like I think it would have worked better in Catwoman and not Batman. But
yeah. But yeah, it's over. Next is Joshua Williamson, and honestly, I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
I don't, I have no idea. It just seems like James Tynion got his Substack deal and he was just like, and done with this. Mailed off the final script,
Yeah, it was probably like, it sounded like he had like a lot of plans, and this was probably like a little bit of all of his plans.
Yeah.
And and so then they're like, well, he's like, how much you pay me, Substack? Okay, well, bye guys.
Mm-hmm. And again, I don't blame him. I like him. Get your bag, James Tynion.
Yep.
But this was a pretty weak one, especially when Joker War like blew us away. You know what I mean? But whatever. They're not all going to be winners. I didn't hate that I read this story. It was just for all that build up for Fear State, it just kind of fizzled. And then the end is part 3 of 3 of the Batgirl story. And dude, I like the art. The story was like pretty fun, and it got me excited for the Batgirls series that's coming out next month. So really looking forward to that. And pretty much every issue that came out this week from DC has a preview for Batgirls #1 in it. So it was good to read that right after this third part of Batgirls. But anyway, overall, this issue is probably a 7. I like the Batgirl stuff quite a bit. The Batman stuff, the art's amazing. The story was whatever. So at a 7. And I'm curious to hear what you think about it when you're done.
How would you rate Tynion's run overall?
Probably like an 8 out of 10 because of how much I love Joker War. And even the stuff that was like whatever is still like better than some other comics I've read. You know what I mean? So I think just meeting at that 8 is probably where I'm at.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
What about you without reading this final issue?
I mean, probably an 8. Fear State brought it down, but like Joker War was really good. Everything else was really good. And I think maybe part of it was helped by the art, but it was still just really, really good.
Sure. All right. Well, that was it. I had a lot to read this week, and there was even a couple I didn't get to. So
wow.
And then for next week, the ones that I'm excited
for.
Big week. It is, man. It is. But I'm gonna say DC versus Vampires, Thor, and probably Robin. Like those are probably my top 3 for next week.
Nice. I'm gonna say Flash, Hulk. I'm really pumped for Hulk. And then I'm gonna say, try to find, because there was one where I'm like, I'm gonna toss this on here also. That's kind of a newer one. Maybe it was a newer one. I don't remember. I'll say Deathstroke Inc. I'm like, or no, Death Doctor Strange. That was the one, because that book's good.
It is good.
So Fantastic Four time. And I was gonna do one because I knew you were in like an annoyed mood. So I was like, let's hear you things that annoy you even more. But then I was like, Thanksgiving's coming up. We gotta be thankful. So give me 4 comic books you're thankful for.
Man, the top one is probably Die from Image. Cause like right before we started doing this show, I wasn't really reading many comics, weekly comics, but that was one that I like had to read
Yeah.
and really got me back into reading weekly books. So I'm very thankful for Die. Um, I'll say Donald Cates's Thor because Thor is back now, and Jason Aaron's run needed to be done. So I'm very glad that Donnie came along because it's been awesome. And it even got my best friend Casey to read Thor with me. And that means a whole lot to me. I'm going to say Saga because you got me into that one. And it's probably the first like non-big two book that made me realize, oh, there are other comics that aren't Marvel and DC that are really, really good, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I'm gonna say the Milestone books. I've got a lot of nostalgia there, and I'm glad that they're finally back and doing what they're doing for not just me, but you know, anybody that needs those characters in their lives.
Right on, man. For me, I'm gonna say Daredevil. That's just been some of the best comics I've read in a while. The Thing book. I mean, I wanted a new Thing book forever. And now that we got one and it doesn't suck is just wonderful. And like, not even that it doesn't suck, but it's also like so much fun. So that's great. The fact that Saga's coming back, like again, Saga's one that's just one of my favorite books. So happy to, yes, Chef's Kiss. And then Flash. Just I'm loving Flash just in general. Like Josh Williamson's run was great, and his current run is great also. So it's just
And
awesome.
also, I'll be picking up this week's issue because Dr.
Ooh.
Fate is on the cover.
Should be good. I think I have a feeling it's not going to be Kinty though. It's going to be new guy. I keep forgetting his name.
I think it's Khalid.
Okay.
But the costume's cool, and I didn't dislike that character. His comic series just wasn't the best.
Yeah, and honestly, like he should have started off in Justice League Dark instead of his own series because like you're not going to get a lot of people to be like, oh, the new Doctor Fate, like I don't think that's pushing a lot of books. You got to start with the Justice League Dark and then his own book.
I'm fairly certain I was the only one picking that up every month.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I think that's the end of the episode.
I think so.
All right, folks. Closing plugs, if you would, go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter. That's at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. Please, review us 5 stars wherever you're listening to this, and then subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is 2worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And tell us what you're thankful for.
Yeah. Is it us?
If it is, we'll let you be on the podcast.
Wow. Big promises being made there.
But you have to comment on it and get 10 likes.
There we go. And you know what? I'm going to say I'm thankful for everybody that comes back week after week and listens to us ramble about all sorts of things.
Yeah, and I'm also thankful you didn't tell your friends because I don't have to get a mullet. So that's a plus.
But seriously, guys, thanks for listening. We really do appreciate it. This is one of my greatest joys in life. I love talking with Casey every week. And it means a lot when you guys come into the shop or whatever and say that you enjoyed the episode or share your thoughts on certain things. So thank you. Hope you guys have a great holiday week and, stay safe if you're traveling and eat a lot of food. But We'd love to stay in chat, but we have to not win an NBA championship thanks to that darn Michael Jordan. So we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.